Happy Thursday, TV family. Getting closer and closer to the weekend. Can't come soon enough for me. 9th day of April, 2026. I'm Dan Kuntz. Outside of a few high clouds, a few contrails zipping around in the atmosphere. It's a beautiful morning, 39 degrees here in the big city. We hit 64 yesterday. Going to be a little bit warmer than that today. Warmer still Friday, and the National Weather Service has now kind of changed their mind about what's going to happen this weekend. We have an increasing chance of rain and some more cloud cover. They were kind of hedging their bets a little bit, but they have since decided, nope, looks pretty cloudy now on Saturday with some rain, maybe 40% chance of that. Forecast details are coming up. We will fill your head full of the information you need as far as news is concerned, what's going on around the valley in north central Washington. We have a team of pros who does that. Sports, Mariners, they won the first game of the road trip against the Angels, and then whoop, their batting average, their team batting average is 184, which is 30th in Major League Baseball. And for those of you who may have forgot, there are 30 teams in Major League Baseball. Pitching's been pretty good, oftentimes very good. They just can't seem to hit the ball. Needless to say, they did not win yesterday, but they are not going to lose tonight because they don't play. We'll have sports, and speaking of sports, we're getting excited as the buildup is continuing for May 9th, the main event. Kenny Mayne, sports broadcasting big-time dude, 27 years at ESPN, a graduate of Wenatchee Valley College, back here in Wenatchee to put on a program that you will enjoy. All of it is a fundraiser for the Wenatchee Valley College Athletic Department. I talked to my good buddy Andy Cooprider, and Greg Sparling, who's the athletic director at Wenatchee Valley College. Had a great visit with them on campus yesterday. You'll see that in the back half of the program. Get your tickets for the main event. It's going to be a very entertaining night, and it goes to a good cause. We'll have all that for you. Oh, and it's Thursday. Pause for Pets. You remember the two roosters? You remember Galileo and Danny? They're still there at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. You've always wanted a rooster? Well, here's your chance. You'll meet Galileo and Danny again at the back half of the program. Tour time. Here we go. They're fired up and ready to go. There are the high clouds, a little hazy. As you know by now, we talked about this yesterday, because the wind has died down and things are pretty calm and still pretty cool. They're doing prescribed burns in many locations, big prescribed burns in many locations in the north central Washington area. So you'll see some haze in some locations. That is the cross camera, of course, pointed down towards Rock Island Dam. From high atop McNeil Canyon, we say good morning to Lake Chelan, just over the top of the ridge there. You can see a little slice of Chelan proper on the left-hand side of your screen, and the snow continues to recede like my hairline in the mountains high above Lake Chelan. Gorgeous view there. Let's head on up to Nanapoc Ridge and say good morning to Lake Wenatchee's crystal clear, beautiful up there. Snow continues to go away up there as well. Just a couple of patches in the highest elevations on Dirty Face and the surrounding peaks up the White River Valley. Outside of that beautiful view from Nanapoc Ridge, you can even see a little bit of Fish Lake on your right-hand side of your screen. And the Waterville camera wants to say good morning to Antioch, and we will do that right now. That is Antioch. That's our Waterville camera. We flipped that baby around about 160 degrees. We can see Waterville, but we're going to say hello to Antioch this morning and the Antioch River Valley. It's a beautiful view up there, and again, a tad hazy because of the prescribed burns going on, and that's going to be the case really for the rest of the week. Yesterday's high was 64. What are we going to get to today? A little bit warmer, 67. From our friends at Colonial Vista Senior Living in Wenatchee, it's where comfort, care, and community come together. Mostly clear tonight, 45 for the overnight low, pushing 70 on Friday. Pretty close to it anyway, but late in the day, starting about 6:30 or so, maybe a little earlier than that, we'll start seeing some clouds begin to develop, and by the time to get up on Saturday morning, it will be cloudy. The temp pattern is going to shift over the weekend as the system comes in with some widespread rain. A lot of folks in our viewing area are going to get some light rain on Saturday. We're going to be protected by the Cascades, but other locations not so much. We have a 40% chance of rain on Saturday and a high of 65, 30% chance of rain Saturday night, 46 for the overnight low, and a slight chance of some light afternoon rain on Sunday and a high of 63. We're going to see more sunshine Sunday than Saturday. Outside of a couple of sun breaks here and there on Saturday, not going to see a great deal of sun, but we'll make up for it on Sunday. And then things look a little unsettled by Tuesday and Wednesday. A very robust cold front is going to slam into our area, and that's going to make things, well, cool. In fact, we could even see some snow in the mountains Tuesday night into Wednesday, even though we're getting closer and closer to the middle of April. So big changes coming once we get to Tuesday of next week, but not a bad couple of days. Going to take a break and come back with your headlines on this Thursday. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Fibercrete fireproof safety rooms can be the difference between life and death for you and your family. Typical fireproof safety rooms are 8x8 Fibercrete panels providing a solid sanctuary. Fibercrete safety rooms can be above ground, buried underground, or built within new home construction. Best of all, a safety room by Fibercrete is very affordable. Call 360-770-2088. You owe it to your family to find out more about Fibercrete safety rooms.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether. We provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
A new video game, a movie, dinner with friends. There are a lot of things worth saving up for. Vapes aren't cheap, and buying pods over and over can stop you from affording things you want more. When it comes to your money, choose what matters. Choose you.
When life gets stressful, jumping into your passions can help you find your calm. Avoid vapes, which contain nicotine and can make feelings of anxiety and depression worse. When it comes to your mental health, choose what matters. Choose you.
At Colonial Vista Senior Living, we believe life is meant to be lived fully. Our wellness programs inspire residents to stay strong, flexible, and confident every day. Here, curiosity is encouraged, friendships are nurtured, and every activity is an opportunity to connect, create, and enjoy life together. We invite you to experience the lifestyle at Colonial Vista Senior Living for yourself and discover why so many call our community home.
Few high clouds, but a beautiful sunrise. It's been going on for about 45 minutes now. 39 degrees here in the Wenatchee Valley. Will be mid-60s today. Lots of sunshine, close to 70 on Friday, and then the weather will change. We'll see some more clouds and a little bit of light rain, perhaps, on both Saturday and Sunday. It's 8 minutes after the hour. A Chelan man is suspected of attempting to break into an apartment in Chelan and assaulting a Chelan County deputy who responded to the call. Alejandro Morales Gonzalez, 24 years old, we're told, allegedly came to the apartment complex in the 200 block of East Johnson Avenue at about 7 o'clock on Saturday night. There, police say he began pounding on the door of an upper apartment, possibly believing his former partner was inside. Well, the occupants of the apartment called 911. A nearby deputy came to the building. When he confronted Morales, the man allegedly struggled and punched the deputy in the face. A second deputy helped to place Morales into handcuffs. He now faces possible charges, including attempted burglary, third-degree assault, and resisting arrest. Last we checked, he's still in the Chelan County Regional Justice Center on a $3,000 bail. 5 Grant County men were among 7 arrested back on April 1st when they allegedly sought to patronize sex workers in an Adams County sting operation. The Othello Police Department says the men became suspects during a 2-day effort targeting purveyors of prostitution. 2 of those arrested were for allegedly attempting to pay women for sex. 2 of them were from the Tri-Cities. The remainder had home addresses in Moses Lake, Ephrata, and Royal City. None have been formally charged with the crime. The last we checked, police say they also referred 3 women suspected of sex work to local outreach agencies. The Washington State Department of Ecology estimates that 10 deaths each year in the Wenatchee and East Wenatchee area are related to fine particulate matter exposure. The agency released its community reports in December. Those reports provide local demographic data and information about air pollutant levels and their impacts on health. Ecology identified the Wenatchee Valley as overburdened by air pollution in 2023 because the community experiences elevated exposure to fine particulate matter during wildfire season. Ecology found that most deaths related to air pollution occur among non-Hispanic white people, with 6 deaths among 18 to 84-year-olds in 2022 and 2023. However, when accounting for ages of people in each race and ethnicity group, the mortality rate was highest among Hispanic people. Their rate was 55 deaths per 100,000. The Chelan County Assessor's Office planning a series of community meetings to help residents understand their taxable property values that time of the year. Property assessments help determine how much a homeowner or a property owner will pay in tax for the following year. Attendees will hear about assessments, how they're determined, as well as trends that may impact values in 2026 for taxes payable in 2027. The meetings are going to be happening on April 23rd in Leavenworth, April 29th in Chelan, and May 20th here in Wenatchee. The state of Washington has just declared a drought for the 4th year in a row. And this year, unlike previous years, the problem is statewide. Despite a wet winter, too much of our precipitation fell as rain instead of snow. In fact, our average snowpack in late March was the 4th lowest in the last 40 years. In a press conference yesterday, alongside other experts in Union Gap, State Director of Ecology Casey Sixkiller says it's likely going to be a dry, difficult summer for agriculture, fish habitats, and us.
There's no way to sugarcoat what is happening today. We have entered April with roughly half of our normal snowpack. In Washington, our summer water supply is stored in winter snowpack. It melts gradually, feeding rivers, filling reservoirs, and keeping water temperatures cool. This year, that system is coming up short. You can see it as you cross over the Cascades on I-90. The reservoirs are full, storing every drop of water they can, but the hillsides are bare. April 1st is typically when snowpack peaks. This year, we are at just 52% of normal, and that gap has real consequences. To put it in perspective, the Yakima Basin reservoirs can store about 1 million acre-feet of water, but communities, farms, and fish need about 2.5 million acre-feet of water each summer.
The statewide average snowpack ranks as the 3rd lowest since records began in 1985. Of the other snow drought years in Washington, 2005 and 2015 were worse. They were both lower, and 2001 was comparable to this year's drought. I'm sure many of you remember what happened in those years. All of those years were associated with drought impacts across the state, ranging from reduced hydropower to fish mortality to reduced water allocations for agriculture. Our office continues to study the different ways that Washington drought can develop. Warmer than normal temperatures were a critical component of this year's drought, similar to 2005 and 2015. Early in the season, a record warm December brought rain to our highest elevations instead of snow. Then a midwinter dry spell continued with continued warmer than normal temperatures limited our snowpack growth. A series of storms in mid-March did bring some snow, but it was quickly melted by warmer than normal temperatures afterward. Statewide, the water year average temperature ranks as the 3rd warmest since records began in 1895, and I'm not misspeaking, 1895. Last year's drought was mostly due to low precipitation. This year, we've had near normal to above normal precipitation for the water year, but warmer than normal temperatures led to low snowpack.
4 straight years of drought means we're at a higher risk of wildfires this summer. Fires will be more prone to start and will spread faster. It's also clear that a changing climate is really driving a forest health crisis that's driving this wildfire crisis. And fortunately, this last year, just weeks ago, the legislature fully restored our funding for wildfire prevention and forest health. That was our agency's top priority. I spent a year traveling the state making the case to legislators, and this is critical funding. As a result, the Department of Natural Resources is able to continue our work, not only positioning fire equipment and being prepared to put out the fires, but we have the funding needed to invest in forest health, in fuels reduction, and the thinning work needed to help reduce the risk that only increases because of these drought conditions.
We're closely monitoring conditions as we head into this year's growing season. In years with similar conditions, we've seen irrigation challenges lead to impacts in crop yield and crop quality, and that's something we're keeping a close eye on again this year, although it is too early for us to speak specifically to 2026 impacts yet. While we expect water shortages to be felt across different regions and different cropping systems, we're paying particular attention to places that we know are vulnerable to drought. That includes the Yakima Basin, where we are today, that faces its fourth consecutive drought year in a row. Multi-year drought events compound challenges to agriculture. An example of that is in tree fruit production. If we have water stress in the fall, that's going to lead to impacts to the harvest in the following season.
Over the past decade, we've declared drought 7 out of 10 years. Drought is becoming the pattern, our new normal. And now climate change is reshaping our water system in real time. More rain, less snow, earlier runoff, hotter, drier summers. In short, not enough water when we need it, and too much when we can't store it.
Small businesses and private nonprofits in our state are still eligible to apply for federal disaster loans to offset economic losses caused by drought beginning in July of last year. The U.S. Small Business Administration is reminding those affected to apply for low-interest loans by May 8th. The disaster declaration covers 20 counties, including Douglas County, Grant County, and Okanagan County. The program is also available to small agricultural co-ops and nurseries. At this time, the SBA is unable to provide loans to agricultural producers, farmers, or ranchers. Construction has officially begun on the new plant growth facility at Washington State University's Tree Fruit Research and Extension Center on Western Avenue in Wenatchee. It's an $18 million, 24,000 square foot facility. It's going to replace these 70-year-old greenhouses. They're going to add 2 wings of greenhouse space. In there, researchers can control lighting, temperature, and CO2 levels. The building also has new workspaces and laboratories built into the design, including a microbiology lab and a number of rooms for experiments. The facility will be utilized by multiple WSU programs as well as 2 U.S. Department of Agriculture scientists researching plant pathology and the genetics of pears. Construction began on April 1st. Wazoo says it's planning on opening the new center by next summer. And 15 pieces of art created by North Central Washington students will be shown in Olympia this month after being named Best of Show at a local contest. The 47th Annual Regional High School Art Show features 125 pieces from 16 high schools. It'll close, by the way, on Saturday. 7 students who advanced to the statewide Superintendent's High School Art Show were also awarded scholarships to Central Washington University. Those students, Wenatchee's Taylor Arce and Jose Pedraza, Chelan's Gabby Benson, Cashmere's Brenda Carrilla Esquivel, Cascade's Ren Popst, and Quincy's Kayim Scott. Madeline Maher from Okanagan Outreach School is also a Central Washington University Scholarship winner and Best of Show winner. Congratulations to them all. That's what's going on here at 19 minutes after the hour. And if you want to know what's going on around here, we have discovered through our vast research department that you do. So check out the news at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock tonight, 5, 6, and 10. The NCW Life Evening News on the very channel that you're watching. That's the traditional on-TV time for you people who have pulled the plug on the cord or pulled the cord on the plug. If you use the internet, it'll be on YouTube right around 5 o'clock, specifically our YouTube channel. And if you got a news tip, send us an email, news@ncwlife.com. Sports is next. You're watching a Thursday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life. Now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Click RV Moses Lake Superstore has gone mad with huge discounts on a huge selection of top brand RVs, which means the lowest prices, factory incentives, and rebates.
You guys gotta beat the spring rush and get in here now.
Shop online and find the floor plan you like, then build it, price it, and click it. Or come to the Moses Lake Superstore. From travel trailers to fifth wheels, toy haulers to motorhomes. The huge RV discount prices are here. Get a better RV and the lowest price guarantee only at Click It RV Moses Lake or ClickItRV.com.
Be a winner like me and get the Click It RV.
A kitchen that makes mouths water and jaws drop. A bedroom from a dream with a bath from a spa. A walk-in you'd never want to walk out of. A pool like the fountain of youth. And a view that never gets old. When buying or selling a home of the highest standards, it's comforting to be represented by a real estate company with standards to match. Coldwell Banker Global Luxury. Live well with Coldwell.
Mow, dig, haul, trench. The reliable Kubota BX Series subcompact tractor is highly capable. A smooth hydrostatic transmission makes for easy operation and versatile attachments that help you handle the job. The Kubota BX Series is the #1 selling subcompact tractor in the U.S. Talk to your Kubota dealer to schedule a demo.
Sports at just about 22 minutes after the hour. The Mariners' 6-game road trip started with a victory over the Angels. And then they lost 5 in a row, including yesterday, a 3-0 spanking. The Rangers knocking out the Mariners in Arlington. The Mariners managed just 2 hits yesterday, and they scored a total of 3 runs in 3 games, while at the same time getting swept by the Rangers.
Here is Josh Smith. Another fly ball. Refsnyder, a long run for it. Refsnyder goes up and he gets it. Rob Refsnyder robs a home run.
Run that far. Doesn't play a lot of outfield.
I think he said, "Oh my goodness."
Yes, he did.
If I read his lips correctly.
I didn't know goodness started with an S. Unbelievable.
Look at Woo's face.
You don't necessarily want to work up the middle too much because that double play is a possibility.
Little bouncer first base, charging in Joe, goes to the plate. The throw gets away from Garver. Smith's going to charge in from third as well. 2 runs are in. Just a little tapper down to first. Two. And that ball is hit in the air center. Not going to go anywhere, but it should be deep enough. And tagging at third, Duran, he'll score. A sac fly by Corey Seager. He picks up the RBI.
Well, Jansen's taken off. Garver's throw is on the money. Is it in time? Yes, it is. Jansen cut down by his counterpart behind the plate. Garver on the money.
Manager Dan Wilson admitted it was a tough game and a tough road trip, and they're looking forward to getting back to the Emerald City.
And this is a tough one. Offensively, again, just not much going on offensively. We were able to get a little bit of traffic, but nothing. We were not able to move it along. Weren't anything, not enough consistency on the offensive side. And I thought Brian Wu pitched a good ball game, and they were able to get to him in the 3rd inning or in the 5th inning there, and just aided by the error, we just weren't able to come back from that. So. We got some work to do, and there's no doubt about it. It's still very, very early, and we'll be ready to go on Friday.
Hope so. Mariners are off today, and then they have a 4-game series against their rivals, the Astros, that begins tomorrow night. And guess what? If you have King TV, you can actually watch the game tomorrow night. Don't have to go on the internet. To the American League West scoreboard, the Mariners lost to the Rangers. The Athletics beat my Yankees. The other 2 teams in the division, they both lost. The Astros got dumped on by the Rockies, And the Braves, not the Falcons, beat the Angels. Well, the Seattle Kraken are playing about as good as the Mariners are. They've lost 10 of 11. They've lost 16 of 21, the Kraken have, since the Winter Olympics. They host the Vegas Golden Knights tonight at Climate Pledge Arena. Mathematically, they're still alive, believe it or not, for the Stanley Cup playoffs, but if they lose tonight, they're not going to the playoffs. And yesterday, the only director of hockey operations that the franchise has ever had, Ron Francis, announced he would be stepping down after 9 years at the end of the season. The puck drops tonight at 7 o'clock. You can watch it on Kong TV. Prep baseball, a couple of games played yesterday and a couple to be played today. Chelan knocked off Deer Park. The final was 10-1. Then they turned around and got hammered by Colville 12-1. They are in Spokane, specifically at Gonzaga over spring break, and Chelan will do battle again. They'll take on Tenino this morning at 9 a.m. That's awfully early to play baseball. Cashmere will be at Clay Island at 4 o'clock this afternoon, Lake Roosevelt at Warden at 4 o'clock, and at 4:30 first pitch for Meridian at Brewster. Prep softball, one doubleheader, and that's about it. It's spring break. It's a very light prep schedule is Grandview at Ephrata with a doubleheader at 4 o'clock. Same time for Cashmere hosting Mount Baker. Waterville Mansfield will take on Cascade in Leavenworth at 4:30. Prep soccer schedule, just two. Cascade will be at Waluka at 4 o'clock, and Toppenish will be at Quincy at 6 o'clock. It is spring break, so they have a pretty light schedule. For the smaller schools, most of the bigger schools are playing like it ain't spring break. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. It's 26 minutes after the hour. If you're watching online in Tunisia, first of all, hi. And second of all, happy Martyrs' Day to you folks in Tunisia. And in the Philippines, I want to wish all of you happy day. It's the Day of Valor. Day of Valor. In the Philippines, it's also National Unicorn Day. If you're familiar with the song by the Irish Rovers, you know what I'm talking about. But today, if you don't like your name, change it. Today is National Name Yourself Day. There are people who don't like their names. Of course, you don't really get any say in that. So if you don't like your name or always wanted to be called something else, grab a Sharpie and one of them sticky name tags and change your name for the day. I know a lot of people who change their, in the broadcast industry, there are a number of people that you see on television regularly that use a different name. That's just what they do because they just don't like their name. For the record, you know me as Dan Kuntz, but my actual real name is Cranston Snord. That's my actual legal name. Cranston Nathaniel Snord. It's 27 minutes after the hour. Today in history, it's a done deal. Well, there was still some fighting going on afterwards, but for all intents and purposes, the Civil War, the defining moment in this country's history, the defining event of this country's history. To understand the history of the United States, you have to first and foremost understand the Civil War. Robert E. Lee and his army of Northern Virginia, all 27,000 troops, surrender to General Ulysses S. Grant and the Union Army at Appomattox Courthouse in Virginia. Lee was convinced he was going to be a prisoner of war, so he wore the last really good, clean dress uniform he had. He ordered all of his officers, his senior officers, to do the same. They were under the assumption they were all going to be taken prisoners and tried for treason. And Grant said, nope, everybody just go home. Just go home. The war's over. We're all patriots again. He allowed the officers to keep their firearms. He allowed anybody who had a horse or a mule to take it back with them. This was April. It was spring planting season in the South. And he realized that there's no way he's going to keep 28,000 prisoners of war. He just sent everybody home. And he also fed the army. He said, what's your number one need, Bob? And Robert Lee told Ulysses Grant, food. My guys are starving. And he immediately ordered a whole bunch of troops to get a whole bunch of rations to the Confederate Army. There would be some skirmishes into the summertime, but for all intents and purposes, the Civil War came to an end on this date 161 years ago today. Marian Anderson was supposed to sing at Constitution Hall, owned and operated by the Daughters of the American Revolution. The Daughters of the American Revolution, of whom Eleanor Roosevelt was a member, said, nope, can't have any black people in our building, much less performing. A black woman on top of that, no chance. Eleanor Roosevelt said to the Daughters of the American Revolution, nerds to you, You can't keep her from singing at the Lincoln Memorial. And on this date, one of the most famous concerts ever. Marian Anderson, the great singer, sings at the Lincoln Memorial, defying the Daughters of the American Revolution, who came out with egg on their face, but it wasn't hard. NASA didn't call these guys the Mercury 7. The media did that, but the Mercury 7, the first 7 astronauts, were rolled out to the general public on this date in 1959. Yeah, they didn't call them the Mercury 7, but the media did. Scott Carpenter, Gordon Cooper, John Glenn, Gus Grissom, Wally Schirra, Alan Shepard, and Deke Slayton. They had to meet certain physical requirements. They couldn't be taller than 5'11", because that Mercury capsule that you had to ride in on top of the rocket was pretty small. You had to be super accomplished in all sorts of different things. You had to be smart. They had an actual list of criteria for applicants from the Air Force and the Army to become an astronaut, to become one of the first 7 astronauts. What wasn't written down but was determined policy from NASA is you got to be white, you got to be male, you got to be a Protestant, you have to be married, you have to have kids, and you have to be either the only son or the oldest son of any family. That was the unwritten rule. White men only, please. White Protestants only for the astronauts. It took them a while to get enlightened. That was 67 years ago today. And happy birthday to the 8th wonder of the world. It started a stadium revolution. The Astrodome opened on this date 61 years ago today, an exhibition game between the Yankees and the Astros. That's the man who built it right there. Roy Hoffines, he was the mayor of Houston. He actually almost paid for it out of his own pocket. This had never been done before. A stadium this size, an indoor dome stadium, Mickey Mantle hitting the very first indoor home run in baseball history. It was a big hit, as a matter of fact. What you probably didn't know, when the Astrodome opened in 1965, it had natural grass. The idea of artificial turf didn't exist. So it had a translucent roof and natural grass to let the sunlight in, so the grass would grow. Sounds good, right? Well, there's one small problem with that. On sunny days in Houston, you couldn't see any fly balls. It became apparent from day one. So they went out and they tested. They hit fly balls up towards the ceiling of the Astrodome, and the outfielders said, "We can't see squat. Check out this footage. This is downright dangerous." They tried different sunglasses. They tried everything they could, but they just didn't think out that, yeah, it's nice to have air conditioning, no mosquitoes, it's always 72 degrees, but we also want to catch fly balls, and they couldn't do it. So they figured, now what? So they painted the ceiling. They painted the ceiling, which caused the grass to die, and then they came up with artificial grass, which is why it's called AstroTurf, after the Astrodome, which opened on this date 61 years ago today. It's still there. It was condemned like 15 years ago. Nobody in Houston really knows what to do with it, but it's still there. And from the Astrodome, we got the King Dome, and the Silver Dome, and the Superdome, and the Alamo Dome, and domes everywhere, and not a drop to drink. 33 minutes after the hour, 2 heavenly birthdays today. The legendary Paul Robeson, a remarkable Renaissance man, born in this state in 1898. He was the class valedictorian at Rutgers. Then he graduated with high honors at Columbia Law. He was a practicing lawyer. He was a consensus All-American football player at Rutgers. He was an unbelievable singer. He acted on stage and on screen. He wrote. He was politically active. He died in Philadelphia in 1976, all but forgotten. He's one of America's most interesting figures. Paul Robeson. Do your homework. You'll learn a lot. And Seve Ballesteros, the great Spanish golfer. Masters, of course, began today, the 90th Masters tournament, and Seve won a couple of them back in the late 70s and early 80s when he was just a teenager, the late Seve Ballesteros. He won 90 tournaments, by the way, in his career. He won 3 Open Championships and a couple of Masters. The great Seve, we miss him. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. They are our platinum sponsors. And don't forget, folks, you can't just assume that your HVAC system is going to go from heat to cool. Just like that, even though today's modern HVAC systems are pretty darn cool, if yours is a little bit older or you're a little leery about how it's going to make the transition from heating your home to cooling your home, don't hesitate. Give Alpine Air a call. They'll come out and they'll give it the once over twice. Great conversation with two of my favorite people from Wenatchee Valley College. The Director of Athletics is Greg Sparling and the legendary Sandy Cooprider to talk about the main event. Kenny Mayne coming to town as a fundraiser on May 9th. It's going to be a great party. We had a chance to talk to Kenny via Zoom a couple of weeks ago. This time, we get to talk to Greg and Coop himself. But first things first, they're back. Gallio and Danny, the Roosters, need a home. It's Pause for Pets.
I'm Jess Robertson. I work here at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society as an animal care associate, and we're here with Gallio. He is a white leghorn mix, I would say. He's about 2 years old. He came in as a stray, and he's just looking for his forever home. He's been here for, I would say, 2 weeks. He would do great with a flock of ladies. He would love to go and protect her little girlies. So I would say single rooster in your home, unless you have a bunch of chickens, but they will fight over the girls. So just either him or Danny, but I would probably not take both of them home at once. He's very talkative. Roosters usually aren't wanting to be with people as much. They want to be with their girls. So they just don't have as much handling as maybe a hen would. But I'm sure if you worked with him a little bit, he might like to be held. Danny is a Rhode Island Red Rooster. He's probably around 2 or 3 years old, also looking for his forever home and his flock of girlies. He came in as a stray to us as well, just like Gallio. Someone probably called it in, animal control came and scooped them up. He's about 2 or 3 years old, not exactly sure. That's what I would gauge on it. He loves his treats. Very curious fella. Some people just want it as a pet, and some have other chickens that they want to integrate the new chicken into their flock. So if you're interested in adopting Danny or Gallio, you can come down to the Humane Society any day of the week now, because we're open 7 days a week.
Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org.
Yeah.
NCW Life Channel is your local TV station. We believe in being the spotlight and mirror to the communities we serve in North Central Washington. Programming on NCW Life would not be possible without our sponsors. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air.
Highlander Golf Course and Grill, your place for fun, food, and friends. Happy hour every day, 2 to 7. Try their brand new menu and famous prime rib every Saturday night. Planning a celebration? Book your holiday party, wedding, or private event, even in their exclusive simulator rooms. Highlander Golf Course and Grill, where every day is a celebration. Visit today.
For over 35 years, the Sangster family has been not only representing GMC, but the entire community.
As one of the few family-owned dealerships in Washington, you can count on our personal integrity, which has spanned over 3 generations, to ensure your satisfaction.
Sangster Motors stands behind everything we sell, from GMC professional-grade products and service from a professional-grade dealership.
Remember, caring about your family is what brings you back to ours.
Whether you're a new homeowner or looking to update, Save Mart in Wenatchee has everything you need. From top-of-the-line appliances to comfy mattresses and stunning furniture that fits your style, they have it all under one roof. With great deals and expert customer service, you'll find the perfect pieces for your space and your budget. Save Mart, your local destination for quality appliances, mattresses, and furniture at prices you'll love.
This is Mike, Mad Dog McNutty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, I post a lot of stuff on Facebook that gets strong reactions. So since a lot of these posts point out Christian hypocrisy or the mind-boggling idea that Trump is the poster boy for many evangelicals, I get a lot of backlash. Again, primarily from my Christian brethren. Now, I'm not going to say that I don't care what people think, because I do. But as I often say, I don't care enough about what some people think to do anything about it. But I will tell you this. I care a heck of a lot more about what unbelievers think about me than I do my fellow Christians. Sorry. This is Mike Mad Dog McNutty, and that's my opinion.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
Hey, welcome back to Save Mart. What can we help you find today?
We're looking for a mattress.
Oh, right this way. We got a large selection. We have this pillow top here.
Oh, comfortable.
We have more to choose from down here.
Oh.
I think I have the perfect one over here for you.
I guess we'll take this one.
You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
High school sports is back. Join us all spring for live coverage of Wenatchee and Eastmont soccer, baseball, and softball. Brought to you by our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. Coverage also sponsored by Global Car Care, the Hot and Dirt Golf and Grill, Apple Valley Honda, Sangster Motors, Valley Tractor, Save Mart, Caldwell Banker, Biosports Physical Therapy, and Dick's Heating and Air. Your home for high school sports, as always, is the NCW Life Channel.
Welcome back to the show here on the beautiful campus of Wenatchee Valley College with two gentlemen who aren't so beautiful, but they're kind of nice. It's funny, when Greg Sparling and Sandy Cooprider stand next to each other, they kind of look like the number 10, don't they? We won't go there. Greg is the AD of the Wenatchee Valley College, of course, Sandy Cooprider, a legend in these parts. We're here to talk about the main event coming up the second weekend in May. But first things first, Greg, I did a little research this morning. I've been following loosely, I'm a busy guy, your spring sports teams are doing pretty good, especially the Night 9, the men's baseball team. They're tearing up the NWAC right now.
Yeah, they're doing well. They're in first place. They swept CBC over the weekend. We got Blue Mountain today at 1-3. We're really hitting the ball right now. Cut down on our errors. We're knocking the ball out of the yard, knocking it around the yard, but it's been fun. We'd like to invite the community out. It's we got 4 more home games after this and 3 more softball home games, and the kids are playing really well right now.
Last I checked, they were 10-2 this morning, first place in their division.
Yep, they went from down to the bottom all the way up to the top. I mean, they preseason was a little rough. They got into conference. You know, CBC's always been up top. Spokane. It was a very exciting time here on Saturday where we swept them.
Girls softball team, some growing pains. You have a new coach, and you were a little late getting a new coach on board. These things happen. Personnel changes, building the program back up. They're going to be good again.
Yeah, Mark's doing well. His number 1 pitcher got hurt, so she's been out the last few games. Numbers were limited coming into camp, and he went out on campus and grabbed stuff. We've had some good success, and right now is we just got to try to get in the top 4 and see what happens and build on it each year. I like what Mark's doing, and the girls are out there competing.
We've made no secret about this. Our mutual friend Eric Granstrom talked to you shortly after you got the gig. You inherited kind of a mess here, Mr. Sparling, but you seem to have turned the ship around, so to speak. You're turning the ship around. You can't turn it on a dime, but you were given the keys to say do what you can, and you seem to be doing it.
No, we're doing well. With Sandy and Greg and some other people, they're really helping us out. And with this Kenny Mayne deal right out of the gate, it's a big event. I mean, we sat around us 3 and we added Patrick, and we got 4 guys sitting around the table, and all of a sudden this thing came to fruition, and now it's getting bigger and bigger as we get closer. More and more tickets are getting sold, more and more clubs are jumping on board, but it's been a lot of fun. We had New York Life and Braden Dragoo and his finance donate $25,000, and that's huge. And I think we're just building the bridge back from the community up to the campus, and then to the campus up to the athletic department, and it's getting better day by day as we get our story out there. And that's all we're trying to do is get the community back involved, the campus community, and enjoy our Knights athletics.
It begins a sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy. You get out of the issues that you're in. That means you can start building winning programs, which brings better athletes in, which brings fans in. It keeps going in that direction. That's the key, right?
Well, it is. It's all about the student athletes. I mean, we're getting the right student athletes because they're excelling in the classroom, and we got a float in the parade, so we'll be out in the parade, and we're doing community events. Soccer's been out doing some things. They got their spring season going. Volleyball is going to play at Big Bend in a couple weeks. But it's all about the student athletes. It's not about myself. It's not about Sandy. It's about putting a positive experience for these student athletes that are coming away for the first time going to college.
Thank you for mentioning Mr. Franz too. I forgot about that. He's been a critical part of getting this whole thing together as well.
Yes, he has.
Yeah, he's a Wenatchee Valley College legend. Another Wenatchee Valley College legend couldn't make it, so instead we invited Sandy Cooprider to fill in for that gentleman. How are you, Coop?
I'm doing awesome.
You've been beating the streets, buddy. This is this Kenny Mayne thing has become almost a
full-time job.
Almost your white whale, man. It really is.
I have to take a nap before I go to bed now.
I want to call you Ishmael now.
Yeah.
The word is out. This is where are we as we tape this here in mid-April as we're getting ready for the big night on the 9th?
Well, it's pretty exciting. I just talked to Kenny just the other day, and he's pretty excited about coming out. He's bringing his daughter, and he's been out here a few times, at my request, and so this is kind of how we got this all kind of going. And he's excited to come back and do this because he's going to give back, which not too many people feel that way sometimes when they leave. But he wants to give back. I think that he could get a large sum of money for the stand-up comedy and his documentary. And so basically he's done a couple of Las Vegas stand-up, very well received. Went to Comedy Central back in New York, and I think he did it there as well. And so it's just a matter of bringing him back, but I think it's a matter of getting the word out to people because this is going to be a great night of entertainment. We've got a jazz band that's going to play. Michael Cholman, who is an instructor here, one of my former colleagues, is in the band itself. And then we're going to do the silent auction, do a paddle for $1 for student athlete scholars. working on a match up to 20,000, so we could do really very well there. We got some pretty awesome silent auction items. We've got a elk hunt. We've got a couple of fishing guided tours, you know, through Bob File. We're working on maybe a buffalo hunt. So, you know, and we've got Xbox, we've got
Mariner tickets,
Mariner
all the golf you
tickets,
want.
yeah, golf here and there. You know, so it's going to be a night of fun. We're going to have the Wenatchee Valley Tech Center do all of the hors d'oeuvres and stuff, and they're going to serve it, which we can highlight them because, you know, they need to have some I think, positive reinforcement.
And practical experience.
Yeah, practical
experience. It's one thing
experience.
to cook food for your classmates. It's one thing to cook food for 200 people.
You know, and we're getting all the food donated, okay, and they're going to prepare it so that our costs went way down from that because that was a big cost factor. You know, but it's just going to be a kind of an exciting night. You know, it's got the Whiskey Trail Band going to play afterwards. You know, 8:30 to question mark. You know, that kind of a thing.
Well, the best case scenario is the cops show up and throw everybody out. That's right. That's the best case scenario.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully, it doesn't go back past my bedtime. So.
We had a great conversation with Kenny at his home in Connecticut. I didn't fly to Connecticut. We did it by Zoom. We had a gazillion Coop stories. Most of them were true. Most of them we couldn't broadcast on television.
Okay.
That's another story altogether. But to have Kenny, who had such fond memories of playing football for you in the Apple Bowl back in the mid-'70s, for him, he said when Coop called me, it was like, I'll be there. Give me the date and the time, and I'll be there. That says a lot about Kenny Mayne.
It does. It definitely does. You know, I mean, he's been my friend. He's helped us out, you know, a couple times. 2000 came back, was the MC. You know what? That Don Coryell came back to that. Tom Perry, Bill Pandiani, Jim Sollers, all some of the great coaches that have been here. You know, that kind of thing. It was fun. He came back for my retirement in 2015, and here it is. You know, fast forward, he's coming back again.
Personal note: retirement, you suck at it. By the way, Sandy, you're not very good. I was talking to Mr. Sparling earlier. Individual tickets are going really good, but tables. Reserved tables, we could move a little bit more.
Yes,
those,
yeah,
right?
we need to have everybody that wants to have a great night of entertainment. You go through their company, you know, get collectively 8 people that want to buy a table, you know, $100 a piece. They get a lot of bang for their buck for $100, and so and it's an opportunity because, you know, here's somebody that is well known in the sports world, and even other than that, other celebrities. I've been watching some of his YouTubes with some of the people he's interviewed. I mean, it's just amazing that he had the success that he had at ESPN. And it all started here, believe it or not, when we were done with 2-a-day practices, we do skits. So he took the end of a toilet paper roll, the cardboard, and duct taped a tennis ball on, and he went around and did interviews with all the athletes. So that was his start right here. You know,
right here.
His claim to fame right here at Wenatchee Valley College.
You sound like a proud papa, Sandy. You really do.
Yeah,
you really do.
It's fun to see collectively. I think some of the athletes that have gone through, you know, I could start naming names, all kinds of things, and how success stories that they are. So
it is on May 9th. Do not show up and expect just to fork over some money and walk in. Don't work that way. They got to prepare food. They got to figure out how much other things they need to do. You have to buy your ticket in advance. If you go to the Wenatchee Valley College Athletics website, it's the first thing you see. QR codes, everything. You've made it as simple as possible to get your ticket.
Yes, and finally, go WVC.com. There's a great website to go to.
Where are you off to today here after what you're going to go out and beat the bushes again, Sandy?
Well, I'm probably going to go home and shower first.
You know what? On behalf of Mr. Sparling and myself, we appreciate that. That would be, we're kidding. His personal hygiene is impeccable. And I'll be talking with Kenny soon, and maybe one more little love between you two before the 9th, if you don't mind.
Awesome. Yeah, look forward to it.
Good to see you, Coop. Go Knights.
Okay, go Knights.
All right.
Thank
Watch
you.
Wake Up on Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Community is more than just a place. It's the people, stories, and connections we share. At the Wenatchee World, we're your neighbors, your storytellers, and your trusted voice. From uncovering the issues that matter most to celebrating the moments that bring us together. We deliver the stories that keep the community moving forward. The Wenatchee World, your community voice, here every day.
You trust the same doctor for your health and the same dentist for your smile. Trust Global Car Care to keep your vehicle running strong. We track your car's history so it gets the right care at the right time. With our 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on parts and labor, you'll drive away with confidence. Global Car Care, your automotive experts. We service all makes and models, but specialize in Sprinter vans, Mercedes, Audi, Volkswagen, and BMW. Call or visit us today.
Getting ready to send you on your way on this Thursday. If you'll let me indulge in a little shop talk. A couple of things I want to go out to send you out with. If you missed Tuesday night's game between the Wildcats and the Panthers at Wildcat Stadium in soccer, it was just an epic soccer match. Back and forth, back and forth. Wenatchee won on a penalty kick very late in the match. It was these two rivals really put together an entertaining soccer match. Well, Wenatchee is now just one game behind Eisenhower for first place in the Columbia Basin Big Nine. Eisenhower is 4-1 in the league. Wenatchee is 3-1 in league. Eisenhower's played one more league game. But Ike and Wenatchee will do battle tomorrow night at Liebhoff Field at the Apple Bowl. And yeah, we're going to be there. Looking forward to it. Sebastian Moraga and Daryl Geddes will have the call. So if you can't make it out when it should be a pretty darn nice spring evening at Liebhoff Field at the Apple Bowl, if you can't make it to watch the Panthers take on Eisenhower with first place on the line, you can watch it right here on television, or as we like to say in the business, TV. It'll also be in our Facebook page and live on our YouTube page. That's number one. Number two, the Apple Blossom Festival is right around the corner, number 107, I want to say, and we'll be doing our usual voodoo that we do so well, the three big parades. We'll be covering live the Tenaplex Youth Parade on the first weekend of the Apple Blossom Festival. And then, of course, a busy second weekend. We will be covering the Les Schwab Classy Chassis Parade. Lots of cars, lots of noise. And then, of course, the big one, the Still Milk Growers Grand Parade. We will be having all of that right here on the NCB Live channel as we're gearing up for another year of covering Apple Blossom stuff. So again, tomorrow night, Wenatchee and Eisenhower in boys soccer. Looking forward to that. And then here comes Apple Blossom. We'll be all over Apple Blossom. We'll be doing a number of feature interviews. We'll be interviewing the Grand Marshal of the parade. We'll have a couple of profiles with royalty, all that stuff. So we're knee deep in Apple Blossom, and it's almost here. So I know time flies, does it not? All right, things have changed from a forecast standpoint, but before we get to that, we got time, so let's check out the cameras around the valley again. There's the Wenatchee Valley. Malcolm has moved the camera when we started the show an hour ago. It was pointed down the river towards Rock Island and the Rock Island Dam, which is a mighty fine dam. Now we have it pointed up the Columbia River, just a little light layer of haze from the prescription burns, prescribed burns, whatever you want to call them. Does that mean they have to go to the doctor and get a prescription to do these? Just curious. Looks like there's a few more high clouds up north of us. That, of course, is high atop Billy Goat, the highest of all of our PTZ cameras, over 7,000 feet in elevation, which is why you can see Canada, literally can see Canada from that camera. Good morning to our friends at Pateras, Bridgeport, Brewster. Nanapoc Ridge, Lake Wenatchee is just still, it looks like glass, doesn't it? Beautiful view from Nanapoc Ridge, all of Lake Wenatchee almost, the White River Valley, the Little Wenatchee, and Fish Lake is off to your right. And finally, well, there's a perfect example of a little bit of haze. Some of that is the shadow, some of that's a little bit of haze hanging over the Cashmere camera. That's a high atop Hay Canyon, named after the pioneer family that first settled in that area, the Canyon family. Sunshine today, just a few high clouds, a few contrails, 67 for our high today, 45 for the overnight low tonight. Almost all of Friday is going to be sunny until we get very late in the day. Right around 6:30 at 7 o'clock or so tomorrow evening, the clouds will begin to roll in as the pattern shift continues, and the big pattern shift is really going to be on Tuesday and Wednesday, in some locations actually Monday night. A very robust cold front passage I think is going to come in, which is going to make things a lot cooler by the middle of next week. That is it for us. Have a good and safe Thursday, provided the show isn't canceled. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.